Of course, in art history and science, we feature exhibitions in all of these areas, and sometimes we'll blend history and art, or art and science together. And this Brian's show is a really wonderful example of a great art exhibition, but it gives us content even for our school audiences and our summer camps too, and even talking about sunlight and the effects of light. So we're using this not only just to thrill our audiences as they come through, and we've had wonderful response to that, but we also use it as an educational tool. And so we're very fortunate to be having this exhibition up for such a nice long time at Roberson, and generating it for audiences from our local and beyond.
I've looked forward to seeing all of his work in this gallery particularly for many years, and we certainly have filled up the space with some really beautiful paintings. We have pretty close to 100 paintings in the entire show. And how does one hang these? Well, what we try to do is to find discrete bodies of work that we can sort of organize in different sections. So a lot of the paintings are in triads and dyads, groupings of 2, 3, 4 maybe, and they may be thematic. They may be organized by color. They may be organized by subject or even location. Since Brian's, his work seems to be a real coverage of northern Pennsylvania, the Finger Lakes, the coast of Maine, and Italy, it's pretty easy to kind of break those down in terms of geographic place. The other thing is by arranging things according to the whole heliotropic notion of the centrality and the attraction of the brightest light in the pictures. These 4 pieces here, we tried to locate those major points of light centrally. Okay, so it's sort of all emanates from the center of the grouping of the pieces in this whole montage. So it's almost like these canvases are perforated and there's a light from behind the center that's shining out. And that's so true in so much of Brian's work.
It's an honor to be here at the Roberson Center. This is probably the finest one-man show that the museum has put on since their show of Charles Eldredge several years ago. There are 95 pieces here, absolutely gorgeous landscapes, and what it proves is that Brian Keeler is an heir to the American heritage of fine painting. The 3 here behind me, at least visually to me, remind me of Maxfield Parrish, remind me of Daniel Garber, the famous Bucks County artist, and even of the Hudson River School painter Thomas Cole in that beautiful twist of the river, the Pennsylvania landscape.
The texture, the pattern, the color, all the aspects of the painting that the artist seems to be juggling like spheres in the air, and that's always great fun. But the trick is to make sure it all comes together, and that takes an artist.
Every one of these paintings exhibits a mastery seen very rarely these days. Back in the 19th century, in the 1930s and 40s, many artists like Luigi Lucioni tackled the American landscape. And they did it in a period which was called magic realism. And that magic realism is exhibited again in Brian's work.
You've got to come back several times because you're going to see different things. That's the beauty of seeing art in the museum place.
Yeah.
Is you refresh yourself each time you come, and your particular interest at that moment may be different than it was the last moment you were here. So you're going to see different things, and you're going to be rewarded again and again.
And as a nature photographer, I'm obviously very attuned to light and how it impacts either a photograph or a painting. And I'm also very attuned to the fact that those golden hours that Brian likes to paint just after sunrise and just before sunset are the most beautiful lighting conditions possible. So in this painting, obviously, he's captured that beautiful light.
When I drive through our area, I see these same hillsides and these beautiful clouds that Brian captures, and his signature way of using his paintings to bring this light into an otherworldly dimension that I've come to appreciate more and more. When I look at the skies in this area, I appreciate them in a whole new way because of the way that they've been captured in a painting. So that both my appreciation of his art and of painting and of my world has all been influenced.
This painting that I have here next to me is one of the plein air paintings, and it depicts a scene near Ithaca, New York, just north of Ithaca, on the west side of Cayuga Lake. And I've painted this scene probably a dozen times, different times of the year, or in different lighting conditions. This particular one is a winter scene, obviously, and I did it right there on a January day, which was not too cold, so I pulled my truck up there and painted it right on location. And so that's the important part about plein air painting, is getting there and experiencing the ambiance and the transience of light. And so it's in the tradition of the Impressionist painters, and also one of my heroes, Corot. So this is one that I was particularly proud of and wanted to show to you.